the way I do it. Some people do rectangles and triangles and start with the eyes and look out. Yeah? I don't do it like that, I do it my way. So you can have a go at this way, or you can do it your own way if you want to do portraits. But the more you do it like that, the better you're going to get. I haven't picked an image yet, but quite a few here I'm going to use. We get them from everywhere actually. Photos for artists online, get quite a lot there. People give you images of friends, relatives, and I just turn them to black and white because I don't want to do colour. It's a good thing about black and white images. If you want to paint a portrait or you want to paint something for Christmas, you know, try using your imagination and use your own colours instead of what's on the photograph. Otherwise you'll be mixing pink and burnt sienna and white and you'll have no colour whatsoever. Yeah? So try and use your imagination and put colour on first, like Renee sort of put green on first and then work over with warmer colours or put something cool on so it comes through the warm colours, you know? Just play about with your underpainting. So because I don't know what I'm doing yet, sorry I keep moving this board, I can make any hair look really. The first, you've got 9 positions of your head actually. You look at someone from the front, like that. Just bear with me while we go through all this and then you know what I'm talking about afterwards. You look at someone from the front and everybody's head is the same. It's an egg, it's a chicken egg, it's an egg that's shaped by wide at the top, narrower at the bottom. You actually get a kind of feel for the shape of the egg. And I always say sketching is like drawing lots of little lines. Not doing that because you probably get it wrong and then you get rubber out, start rubbing it out and you do it again and again and again. Whereas you're sketching, lots of little lines, one's going to be right, so you just do it like that. And then you get a feeling for the egg shape. The easiest way of doing a portrait, but the most boring actually, is when someone's stood right in front of you, looking at you, so you're looking at them full in the face, and your eyes are on the same level, and it's all about you, the viewer, the artist, the photographer, whoever's taking the photograph or painting, you're looking at someone, and I always start with that one view, and then everything changes from that. So you've got 9 positions of your head, that is the middle position, and then you can have the head turning left and right, you can have the head going up, left and right, and you can have the head going down, left and right. You can have the back of the head as well. It's quite well up to the backs of the heads. And that's the hairstyles. So the first thing you need to do is find out if the head's tilting or anything like that, no? If the head's straight up, it's just a straight line. North to south, and it's also the centre line for your features. Now if you imagine that's a boiled egg and I'm drawing these lines on it, and I turn the egg, what happens to that line? It becomes a curve, naturally. Yeah. You can add some as well if you want, and then that becomes a curved line. And if I put the eye position in, that is always where? In the middle. Thank you. Always in the middle like that. So that's what you need to start with. For some unknown reason, every time we do classes, someone always puts this line up here, or down here, or they get it at an angle like this. That has to be 90 degrees to that. Because that then is the centre of the face. Yeah? And then I put the sockets in, and that's all I do. You put the sockets in, which are actually holes in the skull where the eyeball sits, and you have to imagine them going around the corner. So the head is about 5 eyeballs wide, eye sockets wide, but that distance is important because that keeps that eye and that eye the correct distance apart. Yeah? Otherwise, your eyes will be too close together and you come back out. So you get this lovely positioning. And that line goes through the centre of that circle, doesn't it? So right, see if he's looking at me and I'm looking at him, and he's just, I'm going to paint him. His pupil then will be right in the middle of that circle, and he will look at everybody in the room, because they just follow you around the room. Then you put the easiest way of doing an eyeball, which is that, is the pupil, you've got the iris, which is a different colour, like that, and it's usually a bit darker, and your pupil's a hole. You always get a little bit of light at the top of the iris, excuse me. And then, because it's an eyeball, it's got a lot of dark area around it. So you get that gruesome kind of eyeball, don't you? When you think about the skin then that covers it, your top eyelid always touches the iris, casts a shadow on the eyeball, and then you get a tear duct, and then the bottom eyelid. You always take the bottom eyelid out, and I bet I've forgotten how to erase it, I bet, somewhere. And never draw the bottom eyelid, because it just looks like you've got black mascara on. Can't see the rubbers because they're all the same colours as the charcoal. So you rub that out, And you get a nice thin bit of line just where the light catches, because the light's always coming from above, usually, unless we make it come from below and things like that. And that gives you the kind of realism within that circle, isn't it? So it's dead easy. Pick that up, just a potato head, stick it in there, and then I can move on to the other one and then up. Naturally, you're looking at the person, and he might have really thick eyebrows like that, you know, which are on top of the socket. Everybody can feel it now, if you're doing that. You put charcoal on your hands, you'll have black marks all over your face, but you got this lovely shape of the eyebrow, you know, which sits on top of the eyes. And then that's the inside of your nose. So that's how it's kind of made up. So on here I can just do that, top eyelid, and I position the eyes. Because the main thing about doing portraits is you get the eyes wrong. It's the one eye's eye syndrome. If you get one eye slightly higher than the other, you'll be rubbing one of them out, and it's usually the one that's the right one. And then you keep rubbing. And then you forever rubbing them out, putting them back, and then you throw it in bin and start again. But if you start like this, you get the eyes right. First thing, then you look at the nose, which is actually, I've got a handle for this, I've got one with me, you can get copies done of it. And the nose is just 3 triangles, looking at it from that front. And it's got a wedge, and children have a bigger wedge underneath, and that's where the nostrils fit. The thing about noses is there's no lines around it. So that just tells me that that is the darker bit around there. This is why charcoal's so good, because I can see the dark underneath the nose, and then that's the filtrum. Everybody's got one of them as well, that U-shape that takes it to the top lid, the bottom lid. And that's it with the nose. It's the light that catches this bit that makes it stand out. And children's noses are usually kind of flatter in the middle, and they kind of just like a ski jump, yeah? And you get reflected light right near the nostrils, like that, which makes it like more three-dimensional. And then the mouth, I'm not going to put them all in. The mouth is just, it's 3 muscles. Once you get to that filtrum bit there, the U-shape, and the different lengths as well, so look at the person you're drawing. If you get these shapes right, you know, the triangles in here, the shape of the nose and things like that, the cheekbones, you start looking like the person you're drawing, you know? So it will come. Don't try and make it look like the person. It will come if you do it right. And then, so you get a middle muscle. Again, with children, that's quite big. And as you get older, it goes thinner. And then you get the side muscles like that. It's like 2 seagulls kind of thing, that they tell you in books to do. But that is always in shadow, because light comes from above. And then the bottom lip is 2 big muscles. Again, you look at the person's lip and see how wide they are, and big lips or small, which doesn't really matter. And then where they meet is a very dark area in the corners. You get that kind of shape, and then very dark area in the middle. So just break the line up, and then slightly darker there. It goes a little bit darker at the front, but you get the highlight on the middle of the lip. So it's kind of realistic way of painting and drawing lips, yeah? And like I said, you can pick them up, stick them in there, and then his ears, or her ears, you can see them. They're always going to be on level with the eyebrows, and the bottom of the nose is about halfway, and the mouth's about halfway, chin and nose. Yeah? You all know that, don't you? And your earlobe. The only thing that changes is if you actually tell this person now who's looking at you to sit down, because you're going to paint someone who's sat in a chair, you've either sat there looking at them, I'll go a bit harder, most of it, and then you will be looking down at them, yeah, or looking up at them, so it depends on what they're sat on. Again, we still start with an egg shape, right? This is on paper actually, so I'm not doing it on my gessoed paper. So if I look at this person and I'm looking down, they're sat in a chair, and I just say, can you look to the right? So they'd probably be looking, I would see that profile. There's another thing about going portrait, you're all going to see a different view. Yeah? And when I do a portrait, if somebody sits down for me, if you're over that side, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah? And some people actually come out and say, why are you doing it on the side of his face? So well, come here and have a look. And they come over and go, oh yeah. They don't get it, some people. But you're doing the other side of his face because you're seeing that view. And so again, you start with the centre lines, but because that's the profile, and I said, can you turn towards me a bit, so I get a 3/4 view like that. So that becomes a curve on that eggshell. And if I'm looking down at the head, the eyes are not there, and they're not up there, they're down here, depending on how much the head's looking down. So you get that curve, which is like that. And then, where the 2 lines cross, is my centre socket. And then there I get one big socket as well. And I'm going a bit narrow, and this is the main one, because that's nearest to me. So you get pupils, and that gives you that kind of one eye's eye syndrome, because the left eye will be slightly higher than the right eye, which is nearest to me. Okay, so if you do it this way, you'll always get the eyes right before you start painting. Unless you do it wrong. But if you do it right, if you do it this way, it will give you an idea of where it's going to go first, and then you can, you look at everything then, it's negative space, it's the nose, the mouth, that becomes an angle, you know, so you get the nostrils and things like that. So you can just make these heads up like on a piece of paper, and you get it straight, and that's it. Okay? Any questions? Good. So what I have to do, because I'm not using charcoal on this one, I'm going to use a pen. Well, the first thing I need to do is draw the head. I can't do it in pencil because you won't be able to see it back. Yeah? So I'm going to use a little charcoal, which again, like I said, if you put charcoal on, you can more or less rub it off. Right? Yeah? So you know, you can easily wash it off, get clean. And we start with the charcoal, and then work on it with a pen, and then a little bit of the charcoal, and then we throw paint on and make the head kind of appear. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the head. Again, right in the middle. Positioning the head naturally. You want to get the head not far from the top. We also want it to be kind of about halfway in the picture, if not. All this is just going to be drips and runs anyway, so it doesn't matter about the detail. So it gets lovely shape, and this lovely shape of the head. So I'm just going to do, it's a simple pose. She's looking straight out there, and the eyes are not in the middle, but I'm looking up at her, so she's got a slight curve on the eyes. I mean, they are in the same position, but that becomes the socket. So I'm actually seeing more of the bottom of the face than the top of the head. Yeah? So that's all it does, that is put it in perspective. So I put that socket in, make the sockets big enough. Yeah? If they were children, make them bigger still. You can make them big eyes, you know, nice wide eyes. If you make them too small, it's much more difficult to start making them bigger. If you make them too big, it goes narrow a little bit. Pupil in the middle, because she's looking at iris, top of this. So I just put that in. The distance. Her eyebrows are right on there as well. And the nose, about halfway. And that's about halfway. But I can see the wedge shape of the nose, which is there. Nostrils. And that is where the light's catching it. So I get the nostrils like that. Kind of pinch, not as sticky out as that. And then you got the filter bit, and then top, the middle muscle in the mouth, and then the curve at the top of the mouth. Don't go any wider than the iris, unless it's got a big mouth, but usually not. And then that's in shadow, so I can always put shadow there. With paint, the bottom lip's quite full, so you've got two big muscles like that. And there's a lovely shadow underneath there. Then you get to the bottom of the egg, and if you've got, you know, if you're not enough room, just make the head bigger, because you're the artist, you can do what you want. You can change the world. So I make that egg slightly bigger now, because we are seeing a little bit under the chin. And then I just look at the head, and this is kind of where the hair's sitting, the shape, because her hair, it's the same really, is going to be frame the face, isn't it? Yeah? And it's going off my picture, I want to go off the picture and I get some lovely shape. If you look at it here, the bottom of her ear is slightly lower on this one, I can see them both better. Because she's got a head back, or I'm looking up at it. Okay? But the side of the, look at the eye, and look at the distance from the eye to the temple, and you get that shape, like that lovely shape. Then you get the jawline, which is a straight line, like that, and then you get the curve of the jaw, and that straight line, which is something like that. Yeah? And that should give you the shape of the face. Then the hair, you can just see inside the ear, and then the hair coming down the neck. There's just in shadow at the back. Just make sure you give her a thin neck. You don't want to look like a rugby player. So make a thin kind of neck, and that's going to be in shadow anyway. And this side of her head is just going to come off the picture. It's a lovely negative space there at the side of your picture, and that's why I'm using the same format, because it helps, yeah? Because I can paint these negatives and the hair will just stand out. Alright? I'm not trying to get like this, but if I do it helps. But it doesn't really matter. And now coming down here, that's the neck. Nice long neck, and then just down there. Might put that in. You've got shoulder blades here as well. Things like that. We don't have to put everything in. The beauty of art is leave things out. Okay? And now I'm going to draw it with my pen. I see people usually say, you can't draw that with a pen now, it's got a lot of ink all over it. But I can. Let my pen's here somewhere. And these are fade proof and good for sanding your painting with that. So fade proof and waterproof. That's the main one. Don't use quink ink because it can just run. So I put in the shape of an eyebrow, the shape of the eye, if I'm happy with the position more or less. Don't have to be spot on, but more or less in the same place. So the first thing I'm going to do is rub out that pastel. It'll come out. You've got to get a bit of muck, not muck, charcoal. I'm still left with a very fine line and the position of her eyes and things like that. Yeah? Can you still see it? And I've just lost my number again. So that's all you need, because once you've got the eye position and the nose and the mouth, you can do anything with it, can't you? She's not going to go anywhere now because she's been drawn in fade-resistant pen. It's going to last forever. And so I'm going to just rub a bit of the charcoal light so it doesn't book in the paint. And it's like the nose, you know, you don't need three triangles. As long as you're aware that the centre of her nose is, or the bottom where it changes direction, where I put that line, is going to catch the light. And then her hair there is going to be really nice and bright. Around the edges, I can leave that. Top lip's going to be dark, so I can do that in paint. Jawline, it's got a nice square jaw actually. And then it's got lovely reflections. So the hair's catching the light here as well. Yeah? So I get kind of...
Is that practically using?
It's a rubber. Oh. So this is a rubber. I was just rubbing the charcoal off to get rid of it. So now I need to put some colour on. This is the bit where you just throw it on and just cover your floor a little bit. Got the hair dry already. I might have to take it off the easel. So you might be up and down with the camera. Is that alright? Yeah. Just see how it goes. I want it to run a bit anyway. And drip everywhere. Take all the rubber dust off. And then I've got some acrylic colour. So I've got some Galleria, Winsor Newton, Galleria acrylics. Any acrylics will do. So we're using, this is process yellow. We can use cadmium yellow, but process yellow is a little bit stronger than cadmium. So I'll put some cadmium yellow. Then sienna. These are what I use in watercolours anyway, not acrylics, but these colours. So it's your burnt sienna for your walls, a bit of cadmium yellow. You get Viridian green, which is the same as phthalo green. Really, because it's transparent. We use alizarin crimson because it's a cool red and it's transparent. Mixes really well with ultramarine blue to give you purples. So we use ultramarine blue. Yeah.
Is the yellow transparent, did you say?
This process one, yeah. As long as you go out thin, you don't get too thick with it. That's all we do. Don't try and use a lot of yellow, but it doesn't matter too much with this, because if it was watercolour, you get, if you mix red, yellow and blue, you get wood. You try and keep away from the yellow, and then put it in out with the fruit. beginning or at the end. And phthalo green. I've not got that out. Phthalo green is a terrible colour, but I love it. A lot of people don't like it because it's really strong. It's not natural green. It mixes nicely with burnt sienna. It mixes nicely with burnt sienna and it mixes nicely with blue to give you turquoises. Yeah. But on its own, it's not in the landscape. But we're not doing landscapes, so and then I get a big brush. Just keep your hands clean. And we're going to just start at the top and let it go. If you do anything classy with painting like this in the face, you're frightened to death of going outside your lines. Why? Why do you want to be frightened of going outside the lines? Yeah? You put the lines there as a reference, so you can paint the whole thing in one go and then make a head appear. So you need to have lots of water. I've got a nice big decorated brush, which is soft hairs as well. You don't have to use your best sable, I wouldn't use your best sable actually. You use your decorated brush to give you lots of water. And I mix that with some processed yellow first, or cadmium yellow, whatever you want. And then I add some water to my sienna. Again, you need to make sure you add it enough. Not overly enough. Enough. Like that. And same with the red. So I get this nice. Get some thick paint as well, because we need some of that. Ultramarine blue. And then green. So you're going to have a green face. Okay? Make sure your brush is clean. Always start with your warmest colours first. If you put blue on first, what happens? It just has a green face. So if you put yellow on first, what happens? You've got a yellow face. I start with your warm colours and then build up. Build up from there. So you've got some nice shadows, very subtle changes in skin tone. The neck's going to be darker than a head. Lovely reflections under the chin as well. And the top lip's going to be darker. We can do all that later. So I'm going to get the yellow and just get a bit closer so I don't splash the floor. And see that go. Okay. And just throw it on anywhere you want. If you're having a bad day, just take it out on your canvas. A little bit of matter. Burnt sienna, more paint, let it go. Not too thick, that's me. Add more water. That's what I'm going to do. Bit of red. So that's alizarin. I'm going to the face for that as well. Alizarin yellow mate orange. The side of the head I'm going to make slightly darker. So let's add a bit of blue. So we can use this kind of runny bits. And then you can see where the face is. I want the drips, I want the runs, I want this green bit in the hair. I need the neck doing. Finished. The neck doing because that needs to be nice and warm as well. So you get a lovely runs in there. Again, I'm not putting it on the floor, I can do a bit of splattering in it. So we do this kind of splattering technique. We can make some of the hair. Yeah, it's good.
It looks like a dog's dinner.
The dog's dinner? What sort of dog have you got? Take it off, turn it round, go that way, blow it about with your hair dryer, if you've got a hair dryer. Dry it off a bit. The idea is to let the colours blend on their own. I use a watercolour. What happens if you go in with the brush again? You mess it up. So get your watercolour, let it run, blend with your finger. When you start drying it slows it down as well. You can slow it down and you can start adding small areas of colour. Looking at his picture, so again his lovely darks around the neck line. Again a lot of water. And this is a bit where we are going to have a cup of tea and wait for it to dry so I can move out the light bits. So I'm going to just paint a little bit of the face. So I've got some alizarin. If you look at the eyes, they're quite dark, so I can go in there. Shadows on the eyes and that one. Again, transparent paint, not too thick. Don't worry about the lungs. And we can always put white bits back because it's not watercolour, it's acrylic. Shadows under the nose as well. Top lip, a little bit thicker paint because it's the top lip's quite full and you get a lovely shape as well. Under the jawline, or just on the bottom of her chin, side of the head. That's where the ears are going to be, but I can rub those out. She's running a bit too much. Looks like she's crying, so don't make her cry too much. Leave her crying. Like Dracula. Isn't it? She looks like Dracula. That's it, finished. Go to skirt of it. That just stops it running a bit. You can do it with a straw as well, that will pass out. You use your now I'm going to just do a few dark bits and let the whole thing dry using some looking around the head, just to the side. So this is thicker paint as well. Well, the idea is though is try to put it on and make it look like you haven't put it on. Right? So it's kind of just dropping a thing in using the side of your brush. So it kind of makes these negative spaces, you know what they're around the head, yeah? Because it's the hair that frames the face, yeah? And gives her this kind of shape in that area. And then a nice dark here. So I want to keep that side of the neck lovely and soft. You can use your soft brush as well, dry brush just to blend things like that. If you want to. We need a damp cloth in a minute for doing other things. I'll just put the eyes in because they're quite dark. Small brush, thick paint, and give her coloured eyes later. Excuse me. So it's got a little bit dark iris pupil, whatever. It's blood there. It's a big blowout to the top eyelid. It's there all the time. And the eyebrow, because that's quite dark as well. And the side of the head again. And then let it blend and so on. You've got a bit of kind of red under that eye. Nostrils. Just little dark areas. Not too much. And again, bottom lip. Well, naturally, go get a little bit of warm colour. Depends on what lipstick she's got on. No matter. Let's look at the front of the bottom lip. And we've got a nice shadow underneath the lip, which is that shape, just like an oblong that blends into the rest of the face, which we can actually use with glazes. So we use quite a bit of glazing, yeah, which is that kind of thing. So with glazes, lots of water, some acrylic, and you just knock it back. You do the same thing, knock it back. Use a brush, soften an edge, and have a cup of tea. So I can take the colour and bring out the structure of the face. So like I said before, it doesn't really matter about the colours, because it's kind of nicely
Just a wet cloth.
warm and, yeah, warm and cool. It's just a damp cloth, wife of the man, because I pinched this. So you get nice. So I'm looking at the structure of the face, like I said earlier, the light catches everybody's face, especially if it's coming from above, in the same place, yeah. You can blend things. The bottom eyelid is going to catch the light, you can see. Even though there's not much on the picture, I can take some light off in the eye, and give it some coloured eye later. It's got blue eyes or whatever. Nothing too fussy though. The top eyelid, it's quite dark those eyes, but I'm just putting this in first, and then I can play about with glazing techniques. The end of the nose, so I want that to come forward. So you've got a good bridge of the nose, flat mount, it's got a really strong highlight on the bridge, and then inside the corners of the eye, there and on that side. So there's a lot of light catching there. You just soften it with the cloth. Yeah? And even though you've got drips and runs in the forehead, we can soften those as well. So you get a nice flat shape across the forehead. A few highlights at the top. I can glaze that a bit.
Is the paint totally dry now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly, yeah. It's better if it's dry because you can control how much you take off. If it's wet, you probably go straight back to the white gesso, like Camden. So if I'm looking at the nose, I've got the light just on the nostrils there. Because I've only got that thin pen line, that's all I need to help me to put the lights. You've got a lovely light over the top lip, that triangle shape. You see, she just starts to make appearance, really, from the underpainted. That's all it is. I've got a lovely reflection on her cheek, on the side of her head here, going up into that. Must have found edges as well. On the side of the face, a bit darker. The ears though, with a couple of earrings, we'll not get to them. Top of the lip, round the nostril, and then that blends into the cheek, the chin, catching a lot of light, and then underneath the chin, it goes kind of darker there, so I can glaze that in a bit. And just squinting my eyes, bottom lip, two muscles, that one and that one, catching the light. A lot more light there. On the side of the cheek. You can use this in the hair as well. You can create textures while it's damp by just rubbing out some of the shapes. Like that. Some of it is still a little bit damp. But it's like I've just been saying to someone, trying to create happy accidents. And you can only do that by just letting the colour blend on its own and then bringing them out. And then I can do a bit of glazing in the eyes and knock it back a bit. So and bring out the chin and the jawline, things like that. So there's nothing I cannot do yet. It's not that thick, the paint, so I can change a lot of things. Get a nice light on the neck, so just take that off a bit. Without glazing. And just that area is catching the light. A bit of a collarbone. You want to do it, something like that. Blend that in. Need some drips. I can paint the background in negative shade. So where the darks are, in the background, back of her head, I've got a really nice light around the head, around the hair actually, so paint that dark shade and leave her hair, you know, as the light area, catching the light. If you put it on thin, it's transparent. If you put it on thick. So paint, there's no white paint involved at all. And then on this side, there's up to my tape, taking it into the hair. We've got things like that happening. turning into Britney Spears. Nothing. And we had all the light in the head and then all the way down there. Like that. Let that disappear, blend it in. Always keep standing by. So it's dark colour now as well. Red and green, lovely darks, red and green. Alizarin, looking at this jawline. I just have a balance it up. Again, I don't want it to be too fixed. I know. I kind of bring things out and then make them disappear. Using the side of your brush. Her eyes are gone up there, that's darkening quite a bit. Side of the cheekbone there, got a lovely curve, and then I can just see the ear again in that position. If it's wet paint, we can blow it on and let it run. It's all about the runs. And then nice shape at the back of the neck. Disappear. You've got a lovely curve here of the neck. Which goes into that shape. Yeah. Top lip. So just move away to somewhere that's not wet. Top lip. Really strong, dark, bit of alizarin and blue. You can take the light off and then just to get some reflections. And underneath the nose, reflected light in the nostrils. Top of the top lip. Filter on. If you go a bit too light, you can just glaze it again. So, like that. Nothing lost. Soften it. Put the light there. Should glaze the neck. Right there. Warm and cool. It's nice and warm. Blend it. And nice. We can also use compressed charcoal, because that's very black. So this is the stuff. If we put the eyes in there, pupil, iris, top eyelid.
What's you putting into with charcoal?
Compressed charcoal, yeah. Compressed charcoal, very black. Black pastel really.
How will you stop that smudging now, Anthony?
I'll fix it.
Right.
Nostrils. Actually, you're not going to paint over unless you fix it, because it could just smudge. That needs to dry a bit. Just a bit in our eyebrow, not too much actually. I can use this in the head as well. Well, but a lot of the time I don't want to do much to the bottom area. It's just kind of, and you blend it. You can warm things up. Give some blonde hair. Or green hair. Green hair. Got green hair. Take the light out in the hair. So you stick your finger in the cloth, use your nail, have it with your nails. back to the white. Around the head, inside there. And I blend it. You can do as much or as little as you want. There's a bit of a glaze on the face, then. That's that. Soft earth brushes, main thing. And watercolour brushes. So from the cheek down, just glaze that area. Soften it. Let it dry. Back to it. The blue eyes. You can use white, so I've used some white. This is Acrylic, titanium white acrylic. So I use a bit of white to give it a blue eyes. So you get the colour of your eye at the bottom. And the highlight at the top. You've already got some light there, so you can just put a bit of blue. Use a bit of white right at the top there. Not much in the face, I'm going to take some more out of that. I don't want to start using too much white. Find a clean spot on your cloth. Chin. Under.
It's an aeroplane thing.
It's no play. Stand by. Use your nail. Stand back. Keep standing back. Just a bit yellow on that. Yeah, she's got a lump on her face. I've just been dentist, so. Right, so just get that cheekbone a bit. Oh, that's a lump. She's got a little cheekbone. It's a bit too much. Pump. You can also use white or very, very light areas. You've actually got a little bit on the top eyelid. Where that up there. You can see and the end of the nose. It's kind of there. And filter. Careful with white scars there. it's opaque. So if we're using a pastel, don't cover up that lovely transparent colour. Right, and just use it right on the edge, corners of the mouth. Things like that. And also, nostril. Compared to over my line, there, isn't it? Get rid of it. Earrings. I don't usually do earrings. Lovely light over the chin. A bit of rosary actually. Opaque then. So I can move on to more opaque. Once you've exhausted the transparent stuff, so I can start bringing out the light in her hair. And silent. Again, to lovely light going edges. This is where you can blow this with a straw, but I haven't got a straw. Put the straw. Very fine hair. Over here. How is it? How's it sound? Soften edges. Quiet. With a bit of, you don't have to get it from the art shop, can you? I just buy water-based varnish from B&Q or anything like that. Just a water-based varnish. Like PVA glue. So that's what you do with acrylics, splash it up.